Hello guys and gals, and this is going to be a reading from Strange Monsters and Great Searches by George Laycock. Now, it's a 1973 book, copyright 1973 by George Laycock, all rights reserved. Published in large print by arrangement with Doubleday and Company, set in Photon 18-point Helvetica medium. And we are doing number 6, An Octopus to Remember. This ought to be a pretty fun read. The last one was, what was the last one? An Unforgivable Serpent, that's right. It's about a giant snake that scared a lot of people in Ohio, and I don't think they ever found it, which was kind of odd. So, we are to Chapter 6, An Octopus to Remember. Let's go. One behind the other, the waves roll in from the broad Atlantic and wash onto the sandy beaches of Florida. Then the water spread out in thin sheets and finally slip back to the ocean. Behind them, in the darkness, they leave an offering for those who are walking the beach the next morning. Usually the waters carry only small creatures, the shells of angel wings, pearl whelks, and sand dollars. Shell collectors pick up these beautiful little gifts of the sea, admire them, then carry them home in brown paper bags. Meanwhile, the waves continue, for the offerings from the sea are endless. But one black night, in addition to little shells, the waves carried a startling burden. Each advancing wave moved the giant corpse closer and closer to the shore. Gradually, the waters below the corpse grew shallower. Finally, the lifeless tentacles dangled loosely, touching bottom and scraping along the sands. By daylight, the waves had lost much of their size and force. The whitecaps were gone, and only the gentlest waves continued to lap up against the sandy shores. As the light grew stronger, a strange shapeless form could be seen heaped upon the beach. By now, it had no head, and its legs were only stumps. It resembled what some people believed at first to be a dead elephant, but it was obviously of the sea. Early strollers on the beach came upon the sea monster and strode around it in wonder. Not even in their worst nightmares had they seen such a creature as this. One of the first scientists to study it and venture an opinion on its identity, according to F.G. Wood, writing in Natural History magazine, was Professor A.E. Verrill of Yale University. The professor was known worldwide as an authority on giant squid of the ocean depths, but what Professor Verrill suggested about the monster lying lifeless on the St. Augustine beach sounded far-fetched. Not the Pokemon. He thought at first that it might be a giant octopus, but the more he thought about this, the more unlikely the whole idea seemed. Finally, he declared publicly that he had changed his opinion. This was understandable. After all, there was no such thing as a giant octopus known to science. If there were, it would surely rank among the world's most frightening creatures. By our standards, there is not much that is pretty about an octopus. Many people call them devilfish. The octopus looks as if it might have been put together in the dark of night from odds and ends. Even so, the average octopus, full grown, is a gentle soul with a body about the size of an orange. Sticking out like bumps on the side of the head are large eyes that allow the octopus to see well in the shadowy depths. It has a short neck by which the head is attached to a strange-looking body. The mouth is lined with strong jaws, outfitted with horny material, allowing the octopus to crush fish, crabs, and lobsters. Assembled around its mouth are 8 legs or arms, depending on your point of view. They are long, tapering, flexible tentacles. The legs of an octopus are remarkable. Along the underside of each 1 or 2 rows of suction cups. With these, the octopus can get a firm grip on rocky ledges. In this manner, he moves along in what, to an octopus, may be walking. The suction cup movement, however, is low-speed travel. If the octopus gets into real trouble, he has a couple of tricks in reserve. First, he goes into high gear in reverse. This is accomplished much the same as the squid does it. He draws water into his body through a funnel-shaped opening beneath his head. Then he squeezes water back out through the siphon and becomes a squirt gun. The force of the water sends his body shooting backwards through the depths. This is a good thing for an octopus to know, especially when he encounters a shark or other predator with a fondness for octopus meat. At the same time, the octopus can force out of its body a black cloud of inky liquid that hides his movements. If these tricks are not sufficient, the octopus can change colors. Right before the eyes of a predator, the octopus may slip into his best green, white, or pink outfit, depending on which color makes him match the surrounding rocks. With all these good features going for him, even the adult octopus is still frequently caught and consumed by various octopus eaters. He makes the chase as difficult as possible for big predators by living in crevices and holes among the rocks. In addition, the octopus is very cautious. Among those who delight in eating octopus meat are people. The portion eaten is the legs. This is understandable because an octopus is mostly legs. I guess that makes sense to me. Besides, one octopus has as many legs as 4 chickens. Let me see. Yep. The octopus, marvelously camouflaged, can fit into oddly shaped holes in the rocks because he has no skeleton. He can fold up in any direction he chooses. He belongs to the cephalopods, the same group of animals as the squid. In the saltwater world of the octopus, the breeding season begins when a male and female come together for mating. And once the mating is accomplished, the female is ready to lay fertile eggs. They are usually small, transparent, and grouped in clusters. The Atlantic octopus may keep producing eggs until she has 180,000 of them. Then she must tend them until they hatch. She takes this job so seriously that she does not eat. For 2 months she stands watch. Then, if all has gone well, they emerge from the eggs. A whole family of tiny baby octopuses, I think the plural is technically octopi, shaped just like their parents. Only then can the mother octopus break her long fast and begin to feed again. Around the world there are octopuses living in every ocean. They are especially abundant in tropical waters. Scientists have identified about 140 species. The biggest one is often said to be Octopus duflini of the North Pacific, a creature sometimes capable of spreading its arms out over a span of 20 feet or so. Even this monster would have seemed small if placed alongside the heap of flesh that washed out on the St. Augustine beach. Many people prefer not to even think about the octopus, and especially a fantastic one, huge enough to capture a fisherman and sink his boat. The vision is enough to bring a sailor out of his bunk screaming in the dark of night and swearing off rum toddies. No wonder Professor Verrill found his first observation difficult to believe. What he might not have known was that native fishermen in some parts of the world have long spoken about giant octopuses living in the depths of the ocean. Around the Caribbean Sea, such creatures are considered fact by fishermen who claim to have seen them alive and speak ominously of such monsters reaching into fishing boats to extract fishermen. As the strange creature lay dead upon the sand, newspaper headlines around the country speculated about it. There was no question that it was a monster. One look proved that much. But there are monsters, and there are monsters. Okay, but there are monsters, and there are monsters. Okay, precisely what this one might be was baffling. For more than 2 months, the great black bag of flesh lay there decaying beneath the Florida sun. Samples of it were taken and shipped off to the Smithsonian Institute and the museum at Yale University. Once or twice the creature was moved. One time an investigating scientist used a dozen men and block and tackle, stretched it out the better to measure it. The remaining parts measured 21 feet long and weighing an estimated 6 tons. As the creature continued to weather in the tropic air, the hide grew so tough that an axe would not penetrate its 3-inch thick skin, but would instead simply bounce off. 3/4 of a century after those samples went off to the Smithsonian, men of science still debated about the giant creature. Dr. Joseph F. Gennaro Jr., a biologist, prepared microscope slides of sections of tissue and compared these with known samples of both octopus and the giant squid. Dr. Gennaro, who reported his conclusions in the pages of Natural History, believed the St. Augustine monster to be the remains of the biggest octopus ever measured. How big would such an octopus be as it lived along the rocky ledges of the deep, clear Caribbean waters? Those arms were judged to have measured 100 feet in length, from the tip of one tentacle to the tip of the opposing one. It could have stretched across 200 feet of ocean. The possibilities that the last individual of a vanishing giant species might have washed up on the Florida shore seems unlikely. If there was one, there must have been others, and perhaps even bigger. Octopus lovers assure us that the octopus is basically a gentle creature. But it is one thing to feel affection for a small octopus, and quite another to think kindly of one with eyes as big as dinner plates and a reach of 200 feet. The debate about the identity of the St. Augustine monster continues. While some insist that it was indeed an octopus, other authorities disagree. One of these, of whom I talked recently with, was Dr. Gilbert L. Voss, renowned authority on cephalopods at the Rosenthal School of Marine and Atmospheric Science, University of Miami. Dr. Voss assured me that he does not believe a word of it. He carefully explained the difference in various marine creatures that might have washed up on the beach, and spoke of the speed with which the soft body of the octopus decomposes when exposed to the elements. The St. Augustine creature had become exceedingly tough instead. Dr. Voss believes that it must have been the remains of either a whale or a shark, which have accounted for stories of sea monsters before. In a sense, it is too bad that the men of science do not solemnly agree that the creature was indeed a giant octopus. Without such a monster, the depths of the sea lose some of their mystery. One might like to know that down there somewhere, there really is an octopus with a 200-foot reach, providing, of course, one does not come face to face with it. This has been a reading from, and next time we will read Jet Propelled Monster, Chapter 7. But for now, we'll put my bookmark in there. We have been reading Strange Monsters and Great Searches by George Laycock. If you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. And if you support me in any way, all the information will be in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.